morning. Hope you're all doing really well. Thank you, Martin, for that very kind introduction. I really appreciate it. I'd also like to pass my thanks to DMCC for inviting me to this first of a kind event on lab-grown diamonds. Distinguished guests, I want to give you my thanks as well, because today's event is going to be a collaborative effort, as Martin said earlier. Everybody in the room is a key participant. Your contributions are really going to matter, because today is about shaping the unique future of lab-grown diamonds as a distinct technology-driven industry. Lab-grown diamonds, or LGDs, are at a crossroads. They're at a pivotal moment, and the direction the industry takes could well depend on the experience and knowledge of the people we have in this room. As Ahmed actually said a couple of minutes ago, there's no doubt that the last couple of years have been really successful for lab-grown diamonds. There's been tremendous growth. We've seen technology get better and cheaper over time. You can now produce a bigger, more attractive stone. But most importantly of all, it's entered the consumer psyche. Consumers have accepted lab-grown as a jewelry product. Today, more than 1 in 3 engagement rings in the US has a lab-grown center stone. So this is no longer an untested product. And there are huge opportunities as you look ahead, there's no doubt about that. But there are also questions as to whether lab-grown diamonds can sustain the momentum they've had. And it's probably fair to say that the initial euphoria has worn off. There are some emerging and serious threats that now require some deep thinking. We are seeing prices and margins erode at a wholesale level. We're seeing some retailers starting to heavily discount the product. We're starting to see some retailers even talking about leaving the category altogether. We are seeing lab-grown diamonds being sold in ways that we have never seen before. If you have a look at this example on the screen, it's from the retail chain Claire's Accessories. This is from the UK branch. And you can buy a pair of lab-grown stud earrings set in silver for 57 British pounds, which is roughly about 70 US dollars. And if you buy 3 of them, you get another 3 free. There are probably quite a few people in the room who never expected that lab-grown diamonds would be positioned in this way. So this seems really bad, it seems really scary for some people, but it's important to put it in context. And the situation reminds me of this life cycle curve that I came across recently. I'm not the inventor of this. Some of you might already be familiar with this. It was developed by the consulting company Gartner. And you can use this to chart the path an innovation takes from the point it enters the market to right through to maturity. And you can apply it to a whole bunch of technological inventions and innovations, whether it's 3D printing, quantum computing, or self-driving cars. And I believe we can apply this to lab-grown diamonds as well. We've had the initial technology trigger. We've seen investment already. There's been upward momentum. People were making great money. Life was easy at that point in time. But you can see what happens next. It's probably fair to say that we are past the peak of inflated expectations. We're on the downward part of this curve. We're hurtling towards this trough of disillusionment. People are seeing lower margins, they're seeing lower returns on investment. We actually don't even know whereabouts on this downward curve we actually are. Maybe there is further to fall. But the key question is, what are we going to do when we hit rock bottom? And so the vision for today's event is to figure out how we successfully manage this trough of disillusionment and move on to the slope of enlightenment. That's our objective for today. And to do that, we're going to try to answer three big questions, cover three key topics. The first question we're going to ask is this: what does an economically sustainable supply chain look like? What could it look like? Many people in the audience are probably wondering where their margins went in the last year. Some of you are probably trying to figure out whether you're still going to be in this industry in the next 6 to 9 months. What's important to say here is that this is an early stage industry. A lot can still happen. Business models can evolve. The entire industry may be restructured. So it's important we explore this. That's the first topic we're going to cover today. The second topic we're going to cover is how do you create demand for the product. Lab-grown diamonds have been able to leverage all the marketing that the natural diamond industry did for decades at no cost. But this is less likely to hold true as we look ahead. For one thing, the natural diamond industry does a lot less category marketing than it used to. But for another, lab-grown diamonds are developing their own distinct product characteristics. They're going to need to tell their own story. That's where marketing, branding, and creativity are going to become so important. What exactly is needed, and who's going to be doing it? The third topic we're going to be covering is around how do you build a long-term reputation. We live in a world where consumers and investors are asking more and more questions about the products that they're buying into. What is the product that they bought into? What does it stand for? Even if you're successful in creating demand for lab-grown diamond jewelry, you remain vulnerable in the long term if you don't protect your reputation, if you don't have a consistent narrative on sustainability. And right now, there is a degree of consumer confusion. How do you tackle this? And how do you build a long-term platform for positive reputation? So we've got three key topics: industry economics, creating demand, and reputation and sustainability. And we believe that if we make good progress towards answering these three questions, we will move away from the difficulties that we've got now onto a more prosperous future. That's our vision for today. It typically takes between 3 to 5 years for technologies to make it through these 5 stages that we see up on the chart. But the duration does vary, and sadly some innovations don't stay the course. The world is full of technical innovations that never made it past this trough of disillusionment. Whether it's Betamax, whether it's Google Class, whether it's Palm Pilot. So it's going to be very important to break down the barriers that prevent success. And today's not just about addressing challenges, it's about turning those challenges into opportunities. Not just for the industry as a whole, but for each individual business here in the room. And the way we're going to do that, we'll try to do that today, is through debate and dialogue. Up on the screen, you can see the running order of today's event. The central part of today is going to be around 3 structured discussions around the 3 topics we talked about. These topics are interrelated, they're interdependent, they connect to each other, but we want to try to keep them separate so that we can go in as deeply as we can. And the way we're going to do this is by having panel discussions where we're going to be inviting 4 people up on stage to lead each discussion, people who've got first-hand experience of the topics at hand. But we're also keen to hear from everybody in the audience, because this is a young industry. There are very few truly established experts, so your voice is going to really matter. We're also going to have a limited number of keynote speeches from people who've shown real leadership in this industry, who are going to contribute some interesting and impactful material for us to consider today in our conversations. And on that note, I'm going to hand back to Martin Leake to introduce the first speaker. Thank you.